What's happening, people? It's Captain JJ back again for a new video. We are here at the GTWS Nations Series and it's round 2 at the Red Bull Ring. Just to note that this video was taken after I finished my stream, so this was locally recorded. This was my third and final attempt at this race. The first one I had a connection problem and got spun round. As a result, my second race was low in points in the mid 200s and there I suffered damage but managed second. This race was similar in points to the first one, so a bit more on the line. You joined me during my qualifying lap and it was a struggle. It turned out I was using the wrong lines and braking points, so while this lap is going relatively okay, it's still not particularly quick. As you see, struggling to slow the car down as I am braking on the racing line when really I should be braking offline. Come on, racer's instinct is not really in my forte, which is ironic in a way, as I've done that sort of racing in real life for about 10 years, which was in the mid to early noughties. But there we go, that's just life sometimes. Sometimes you forget these things when you get a bit older. As we drive through here, noticing really struggling to keep the car under control. As we come down to the final double right hander, you see all the times on the left hand side. This was a competitive lobby and something which I'm not used to. This is still my first month racing on the PS5. I am catching GTWS in front of me, but as I come across the line, it's not actually going to be a particularly quick lap. Even though I was 7th on my first lap, I was unable to improve on my second, so I ended up 13th, which is not ideal. On to the race start. Heavy damage here, so I need to be cautious, and if I get any sort of damage, the race is over. As I found out the front, you have to give yourself a second in the pit and make sure you don't get hit. But going through the first corner, it all goes a bit wrong. That was a bit embarrassing. I do a complete 360. Fortunately, the ghosting system is kicking in, so it's just my pride and time which I lost, but it does drop me to the very back of the field. Further around the lap, we see Levi, the South African. Turns out there was an incident between them and the French driver. So, coming off here, I see them recovering back on track just about now. Also being careful because I'm not entirely sure about the ghosting system, don't fully trust it. And that's one position back in front of me. Now, got a Norwegian driver in front of me a while back. Realizing I'm not going to get a move done, so I hold back for now, trying to make sure you stay within the limits of the curb, otherwise you get a substantial penalty, which is a bit of a foreshadowing for later on in this race. So the first lap, one place back from the back, so up to 15th, meaning there's still work to be done. Just getting it a little bit wrong out of the corner. We just about managed to keep within the slipstream. On the way up now, going up to the second corner, Levi roasting the French driver. Now going into turn 2, going through turn 2, Warbeck's just going to get a little bit greedy on the throttle, and there they go, spinning around, giving me another place. So up to 14 for now. So 2 places from the back. Fast forward to the next lap, we see a 4-way fight in front of me. That is for 9th position. And we see GTWS making a mistake, getting the rear end all a bit wrong there. That's not the big error. As we're going into the first of the double left-handers, they make a bigger error, going very wide here. And that's me now back up to my start position, even though I almost lost it myself. Trying to maintain control of the Ferrari while I enjoy the car. I struggled here on this track, and the weather combo just happens really. I've already explained that part. But there we are. Through the double right-hander, there's more problems up ahead, but we're just about going to squeeze through that. Another position. And to keep now in a slipstream. Fast forward again. Now we've got Levi, who is on the back of me. I overshoot turn 3, which is going to allow South African alongside to get ahead of me. And there we are. Lost the position for that. So we gotta have to go again. Okay, we're gonna carry on a little bit around this lap. Just to notice a couple of more things which are going to happen just in front. You see the three-way battle again between Elka, Rao, and Levi, who just recently passed. Oh, this is gonna get very iffy. It did. Levi clutters into Ica, almost loses it themselves, and I'm just trying to follow Rao through. As we look now, Levi is going to get a half-second time penalty for the misdemeanor. That was more for running off track rather than a collision. Just trying to look up the inside here of Rao, realizing it's not going to happen, so I had to fall back in line again and try again going into the second corner. Now got a better exit out of turn 1 there in the slipstream of Rao, trying to look for the outside line, which might not be necessarily a good thing here, because it's better to break on the dry line, as we just see there, getting pretty caught out there by Levi, moving back onto the racing line more like he did to see. Thought there was a gap where there was, and then getting all crossed up again, going down to turn 3 again. I'm on the outside line, Levi just in front. Can I get this stopped in time? Just about managed to get it stopped. Levi almost losing it, but more importantly, I did get ahead of Rao, so I'm up to 12 now. 4 positions from the back. Think about looking at the inside. I did get a line, but Levi's on the outside, more grip in the wet there, so I have to fall back again. Ika and Rao are going at it behind me. Need to watch out for them. Levi's quicker through, Levi's quicker through here. Levi, I don't know which way, how you pronounce it, depends on which one. But then their half-second penalty comes along. I do look up the inside, but then I've realised I need to hold back here, and we better work together to catch up. Unfortunately, this doesn't go quite to plan. 3 laps later, as we go down through the section, we're looking at a Spanish Honda, and we've got Rao right behind me again. Turn 2, I got a little bit confused here. The Spanish Honda overshoots. I get through, but I still have Rao on the inside. So yes, that's another position gain. Okay. So another position gained. It's just now go back down to turn 3 again. Rao's on the inside, is ahead, but I have the outside line again, and superior grip means I managed to get the position back again. So back up to 11. So top 10 is doable, but I have to catch up to Levi, who managed to get away from this group while we were fighting. It doesn't matter, however. 3 laps later, I had a bit of an inconsistent run, but going through the double right-hander, the Honda goes just going to give me a tap at the rear, and I'm going to go off the track here. But that's not the first part here. The second part just comes up. I get a 1-second time penalty for that, which pretty much annoyed me at this point, because I felt I had been pushed off and I saw the hazards were, but I got penalised for that misdemeanor, so not good enough. And then I overshoot the corner at this point, trying to overtake. I didn't want to overtake, but I completely overshot. And then I go wide again. So a bad 3 corners there means a 1-second penalty, back down to 12. And work to be done again. Not much actually happens during the next stint. Next part of the stint even. Except the track does start to dry out. I start to find my pace again. And I start to catch up a bit. And the Honda is starting to struggle a little bit. So now the track is, you can see the dry line appearing there. It's around this point in the race where you have to choose either you carry on with the wet or pit for inters to go to the end. There's no in between. The track dries out extremely quickly, as it turned out. It only takes about 4 laps for it to dry out. We fast forward again, and another couple of laps. We've worked out that you're pitting for 6 on either laps 21 or 22. I chose the latter, so I'm going back on the slicks, having done experience from the second split, knowing when to pit in for slicks. We now jump onto the aforementioned lap 20, where I'm closing up to the Honda again. Once more, we're back at it, looking for the inside line, going into turn 2. They may be on the dry line. I'm trying to nip it up the inside, but I do overshoot slightly. didn't get... Well, yeah, and I had a moment on the outside, which means I have to lose the position back again. So, not much gain there. I have to do it. They've been struggling, though, on a little bit. So I know it's just a matter of time before I do make a move. But I'm not particularly impressed with him slowing down like that in the braking zone, which... Yeah, it's a bit of a grey area. You can do it. It doesn't impress some people, myself included. They're going through the double left-hander. I give them a small tap, but they don't go offline like in the situation I did. But I noticed they're slow coming out of there, so I just thought it's alright. Just throw it up the inside, slightly a little bit of contact, but I've already made the move and I'm up the inside, and that's position gained up to 9. But I am actually going to be using this lap to pit in, as I've noticed that the 3 leaders who are some half a minute ahead of me have also pitted for 6. But I do get it a little bit wrong, overshooting it slightly as we head into the pit lane. So the one and only time I'm in the box, switching on to slicks. You don't need to fuel in this race. If you're in excess of 50% at this point, well, 25%, yeah, then you need to fuel. But we're over 50% fuel capacity, so we don't need to fuel. So we could just go to the end on these set of tyres. So slick, inters off, no, sorry, wets off, slicks on, out we go again. Down the inside. The pit lane is slippery, so we have to be exceptionally careful here, which is why I'm not going full throttle on the pit lane. What isn't noticed is that the Honda behind me lost it on the way out and then had the cheek to blame me for it. Excuse me, you ran off the track trying to catch up after I did a legitimate move, and you got a penalty as well. So yeah, that's on you, I'm afraid. We're catching up in a couple of laps to see Levi coming out of the pit lane. If you just look on the top right of the screen. So cold tyres, but I can't do anything at this point as there's only one dry line, and going on the inside means curtains. So I have to hold station at this point. It turned out it was a good thing I did. As you see, the yellow flags are out as Nissman has spun on his slick tyres. So I'm now back in the top 10, which after what happened on the first lap I'll take. We fast forward another couple of laps. We've now closed on Diego, and Levi's got a... As we go through here, we go into the second of the 2 left-handers. Levi is going to suffer a moment there. Well, nearly did anyway. We're now... This is the proper part. That was a bad edit on my part, so I do apologise for that. So now we go through the left-handers. We're going to see Levi just have a bit of a moment on here. Just losing the rear end, gets on the damp stuff. I have to check up a little bit and make sure I don't hit him. And that's position 8 for me. So a top 8, we're flying. We fast forward again. Nice NRT, it's stopped on the inters, while Diego, myself and Levi are all 6, and we're rapidly closing in. We see Ika getting past NRT, as it turned NRT went on the defensive and gave Ika the outside line, which is the dry line. So Racecraft, not there unfortunately. You can defend it there if you just hold on the inside line and force the other driver to go onto the damp patch. That didn't happen though, but now it's my turn to come across. Noticing how quickly Ika was pulling away from NRT, I need to get past this driver quickly. Fortunately, I don't need to do too much work as they have a bit of a moment. Get off the dry line, and I'm up to 7th now. Onto Ika. We are running quite nicely while keeping it within. Fast forward a few more laps. We actually, is it the last lap? We are coming up now to the last lap at this point. Final lap time. I'm going to sandwich between myself and Diego, so as long as I don't touch the wet lines, I'll be fine. What isn't shown here is that the lead battle got dirty around turn 2 and 3, where the Italian decided to take both Brits like Dede and Lewis, as it turned out. Well, and then Lewis would later spin on down the line during the double left-handers. But back to our action. We are closing up an air-cup. The trouble is the one line. We've only got one line though, and if I try the inside line, chances are I will probably losing the car under braking. Going into turn 3, I slightly overshoot, get on the damp patch slightly. I have to delay the power, and that allows Levi to get back through again. So I'm down to 8th. Last lap still. Now we're going into the double left-hander, and Levi does exactly the same mistake I did. Only this time they put 4 wheels on the damp part, so I'm back up to 7th now. But our mess ups, however, have cost us a chance to get 6th. I almost lose the car as I got a little bit on the damp patch. Iker is not too far behind. It's not too far ahead, but I know I'm not going to catch up. So at this point, I've said to myself, just settle for the points. Don't do anything stupid. Get the car home safely, which is passing around the final corner, which is exactly what I do. So go it across the line now, and that is a 7th place finish in the split. I actually got more points than I did from a 2nd place in the 2nd split, which is better than nothing. While France gets roasted, if you have enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified of all my YouTube doings, and also membership has been opened on the channel. So until then, I don't know why I said that so quickly there, that was just a bit silly. But anyway, if you have enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to get notified of all my YouTube doings, and also membership has been opened on this channel. So until then, cue that B-roll.